One of the most popular displays here at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum is actually just outside the museum. It's the de Havilland Buffalo. And our next guest, retired Major Wally Adam, knows a lot about that aircraft. Tell me about it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the de Havilland Canada has a series of aircraft named after animals, chipmunk and otter and beaver and caribou. Finally built the Buffalo, the fifth in the series. It's a turboprop aircraft and ideally suited for military use. Fuselage is square, so you can easily load jeeps and small trucks and equipment like that in it. And it has been extensively used in the Canadian Forces for, I think it's at least 50 years now. And it started out as a tactical transport aircraft in St. Hubert, Quebec, and eventually went to search and rescue. And it's still flying today in search and rescue on the West Coast with 442 Squadron. So it's had an extensive history with the military. It's a Canadian designed and Canadian built product, so we're quite proud of it.
Now, when you say tactical transport, what does that mean?
Well, it means you're basically supporting the Army in case they're called upon to go to war. And we practice paradropping, a lot of work with the Vandus, the Airborne Regiment when that existed, the RCR in London, and all of the jump regiments. We trained with them doing live paradrops and also carrying equipment such as jeeps and field guns, and we could also airdrop supplies by parachute or by extraction to the Army forces on the ground.
And you did search and rescue out west as well? That's
correct. Search and rescue was a second 3 years on the Buffalo, and that was my final fixed wing flying, actually, as it turned out.
Now, before that, you were in Tanzania in what you described to me as the other Cold War. Tell me about this.
Yes, it was actually part of a program run actually by External Affairs, and we were seconded to External Affairs for the year that I was there, 1967, and it was an aid program to a young developing country called Tanzania. I mean, they became independent in 1961, and then they joined with and it was Tanganyika. They joined with Zanzibar to become Tanzania in 1964, and I was there in '67. So it was a young, proud country, and we were there to train their pilots on transport operations with aircraft that Canada had donated to Tanzania.
And this is where the caribou and the otter come in?
That's correct. I was flying both at the time, and they had a 5-year program as well on that. I was sort of in the middle of it.
And what were they flying for? This was transport, largely?
This was transport operations, and while I was there, a lot of the work was, the flying was, they call battalion rotation. We'd fly to Zanzibar or other exotic places like that and take troops there and bring troops back. And also, we had occasion to go to pretty well all of the small dirt strips in the entire country, so it was quite a thrilling experience. That was about half of the work. The other half was actual flying training, where we would take up a student and do various procedures in the air right near the airport where we were based, which was Dar es Salaam.
And then the Buffalo still holds a very special place in your heart because you were volunteering here at the Warplane Museum, and the museum acquired a Buffalo. You helped to restore it.
That's correct. I was a new volunteer here, and I was just absolutely thrilled when I found out that a party of people associated with the museum were obtaining a Buffalo, and we spent over 5 years restoring that to static display condition. There was no attempt at ever making it a flying aircraft because it has turbine engines, and this museum does not actually deal with turbine engines. Plus, there were other reasons to do with cost as well.
And the size of it, it's too big to bring in here.
It is too big to fit in the hangar because the tail is too tall for the hangar doors. But when the weather's right, our education department in particular love to bring school children out, and they use that as an outdoor classroom. And they can teach pretty well any subject they want as part of the curriculum.
Well, Wally Adams, thank you for your service. Thank you for your volunteer work here at the Canadian Warplane Heritage Museum. I understand you do tours as well. You've taught me a lot more about one of the most important aircraft here. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.